For the first time ever, I'm joined by someone who is helping me in HuntMania and is providing events. You might know him as the creator of the Four Styles Cup and the maps he built himself there. But is he done hosting events, or will he try to come up with some new events for the 2019? But the most important question of them all, Voucher, how are you, man?
Yo, yeah, I'm doing fine. It's nice weather outside here.
Oh. It's always a question that is going on because your nickname is W_1R, but I said Voucher. What is the correct name for you?
Yeah, it depends. In game, I'm just W1R, and mostly in the community, people call me Wouter because it's pretty cool to spell.
Yeah, and probably easier to pronounce as well, Voucher than W1R,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, it's a typical Dutch name. So, but people ask me, different, and I was like, just call me Wouter. And I think it started on spam stream.
Huh. So he almost renamed you.
Because he's Dutch, of course. So he said like, yeah, and he started to call me Wouter, and it catched on, I guess.
Huh. That's the power of a big streamer.
You can call me any way you want. I mean, I lived for a while in Chile, and I had 20 nicknames there. So where you want, and it's fine. But Wouter W1R it's fine.
Huh. And for people who might not know who you are and what you do in Trackmania, can you give some sort of short explanation about who you are?
Yeah, so basically, I started playing TM like 10 years ago. I started with some friend of me. I said, "Hey, what's that game?" Fine, and I really liked it. And then I started to notice that you could be an editor. I'm actually a mapper, and I really love the concept of TM, the free ability that you have to build maps, etc. Building maps, and since then I'm building maps since 10 years ago.
So how far or how long did it take before you, let's say, play the game for the first time and then discover that, okay, I can actually be creative here myself and build maps?
Well, it was really early area, and I was in this team called Autumn Crazy. Maybe some people know, maybe not. It's quite long time ago. Yeah, it took me, I think, 2 weeks. I was addicted immediately. I played every day online and made new friends. And then I know you can send in your own maps. I send my maps to the email of the server admin. People played my maps for the first time, and I loved it. And I got addicted immediately. I started making maps with intentional cuts to just mess with people, like how can you be so fast, and then people finding the cuts. Yeah, I immediately loved it. So.
But what was the style you built in? Because when I show Trackmania to some friends, the thing they want to do is put 100 boosters after each other, have big jumps and so on. But what was your first, let's say, map style you built?
Yeah, I mean, the server was called Very Short and Fun. I mean, it was a bit. You have tech drifts, but basically it was kind of a low map, but not Raider style, if you call it like that. Not with thousands of boost or time. You could block mix, but you needed extended program for it, and I didn't know how to use it. So in that time, I couldn't use block mix neither. So I guess in that sense, the map are pretty decent. They were not super bad. But they were not good neither, of course.
You talked about contacting server admins, and I myself did that back in the days. Went to every server, spammed them, saying, play my maps. But then eventually from building these short maps, how did you end up, let's say, moving more to the style you build today, competitive styles for the best players in the game?
Yeah, well, it all started like that with the little maps, and from then on I started my series called short/fun W1R, and then number 1, number 2, number 3. Check it out. I started making a series, and tracks right now, 39 tracks, and of course, I got better with every map. I took a break for a while. Like I said before, I moved to South America for a while, so I didn't play TM in that time. And I came back to TM like 2 years later, and I started to maps again in TMNF. I found out about that TM2 got released because of spam, and it's everybody. I started to follow on Twitch too, and I started to make maps there. And then I found out about the custom blocks and multi-style maps for Spam Weekly, I remember, and for Enduro Cup. And like that, I started to. By the way, I completely forgot. Before to TM2, when I came back, I started to make RPG maps with a good friend of me, Nani. He's very known in the RPG community for 10 years. So we made an RPG map together, and I made a mod for it as well. Spain Night Cup. No, not Night Cup, sorry, the RPG Spring Cup. And we made it, and I learned with building the RPGs. I've learned I could advise any mapper that's starting and wants to make creative maps to make an RPG, because you learn the mechanics of TM really good. You can learn stunts, you can creativity in TM. I think in total I make two RPG maps with Nani and one RPG map alone. I moved to TM2 and I started to weekly maps, and then I found out about streaming and then came the first edition of the 4-Styles Cup, the beginning of a new era, and people really loved it. And I think since then I'm kind of a bit known as mapper. And I started to think like, why I don't map competitive for TPL map.
But if I ask you this, because I guess we sort of have when I think about it more and more, we sort of have the same history. We both build maps, short maps in the game Trackmania Nations Forever. Then you moved to South America. I also was in South America. Then you moved to TM2. I also moved to TM2. But I guess somewhere it stops there before we get back to HuntMania again. But I stopped building maps simply because I have no skill of driving and then testing out what my maps will look like for the best players in the game. How do you, let's say, double check if your lines for a map is suitable for, let's say, the best players in the game, like Carl Jr., Pack, and so on?
Yeah, like I have the same issue. I suck as a driver. I mean, I can drift. I can this and map like a TPL map. I built it in segments, and these segments I can drive. The most difficult part is when the map is totally finished. You have to validate the time. I have problems with that to get a clean run and get the perfect lines, and etc. So, well, most mappers they have someone they set for them, someone that is not participating in the competitions, or basically good enough to test the track. And when it's finished, or maybe sometimes I ask like, "Yo, can you check this turn?" I send it to them, and they say, "Ah, it's good," or they say it's garbage. Just to double check. But my advice would be like, if you don't have a person to test it, just drive segments, puts the booster in front of just drive it over and over and over, and then you can see if it's good, because eventually you will get the perfect line and you get the perfect speed that the pro players will take, of course.
So you will break it down to segments, or let's say parts of the map.
Yeah. I always build in segments, and that's why I also take very long to make a map like that. I think, one of the most slow builders in the TM. I mean, you can look at the Voyage of Time. It took me 450 hours to build it.
Huh.
I'm not the fastest mapper, but it's also because I like perfection or something. I don't know how you call it, but I like it to be good. Not that after I realize, oh shit, this turn is not good enough, and it ruins the rest of the map.
But what kind of maps do you then enjoy building the most? Is it competitive maps for the best players? Is it multi-styles? Do you have the 4 Styles Cup? Is it fun maps? Is it RPG maps? What do you personally, if you can pick anything?
I enjoy building multi-style maps, of course, because I feel like I have a distinctive style like using a lot of custom blocks in the 4 style map. That's a kind of a bit of myself and of my own, and seeing players drive it is the most fun for me. So basically, I only map for competitions now. I don't map anymore just for fun and release it on an MX like I did in TMNF. So I can see the map back because that's what I enjoy. I like players playing the map and on what's good or what's bad, and improving yourself and making creative maps. My goal. So I would say what I enjoy the most is not maybe a specific style, but just enjoy that players play your map. So it's not that your effort is not to waste. Just play it twice and just 3 persons or something. If you understand what I mean.
So, as you probably know, and as probably everybody in Trackmania knows, mappers who build competitive maps for the biggest events, they still don't get anything in return in terms of some prize money or some gifts or something. It's simply the maps are going to be played. But how do you see it when you spend so many hours to build a map? Is it for you satisfying enough to see the map being played in the event? Or would you have more motivation if there was some sort of carrot hanging in front of you?
Well, it's a difficult question because, of course, man versus man. You put prize money for the best map of the cup, and I think it's really good because, of course, we mappers we put the same effort and time in a map. Make something on Photoshop, or they drive the map for really much time. For example, I put 450 hours in the 4-star map, but I don't think anybody hunted the map more than 120 hours or so. So I think it's really good, but it's difficult too because TM at the moment, of course, it's not a huge community. So I think we also are dependent of each other. So if I need an advertisement of somebody, I can ask like, "Hey, yo, could you make this for me?" And I can do you something in return. It would be nice if we help each other as a community. But on the other hand, I think it would be nice if everybody that puts work in Trackmania gets something in return, of course.
But don't you think...
but back to your question.
Yeah,
so
sure. Go ahead.
You asked me with the carrot in front of... Motivate me more? Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I think it will, but it will also put a bit of pressure on me, and I don't build good on pressure. Be good, and maybe I can, so it will frustrate me, but I need to see it happen now. So I did a map for man versus man, and let me see. Actually, actual Blom Cup, they implemented now too rewards, and they map every map that comes in the cup. They will reward with $20. So I think that's a really good initiative.
Starting a trend here in HuntMania, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you did a good job, and I think it's nice to see are getting value because, of course, the ones that are playing it all day and practicing. So it has to be a good one, and we try to always make good maps, of course.
But if you remove the money out of the pictures, do you think that overall mappers who actually get the maps played, let's say for the World Championship, that they should be more given more attention than just a small name here and there, like maybe marketed more or something like that?
Well, like in the World Cup last year, they had very cool videos and the map name and the mapper. But for example, in the Grand League, I made a map, the qualification map, together with Kisla, and we didn't get the recognition on stream or whatever. It's fine because it's qualification. I don't neither with the upcoming maps. They get a video, but it doesn't say who mapper and stupid, of course, because everybody puts time in there, and we work just as hard as everybody else. So it would be nice to get a little recognition, of course. Yeah. It's not a huge deal, at least for me. Not just enjoy it, like I said before, that people play my map and.
But for you, like then you can sort of break it down for you personally. You of course enjoy the process of building it, and then the sort of carrot for you would be if it gets picked in the end out of all the maps sent in.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my carrot, making sure it gets picked, and just hope that the testers will like it, and it makes me very happy. It's very cool, of course. My first map for TMPL got picked for the Gaming Winterfest, and yeah, that's very cool, of course, that you played by a lot of players on a LAN event. It's pretty cool. So that will be my motivation.
And if you look besides the just getting picked for the event itself, I believe that one of your maps was nominated for the map of the year. What did, looking at the other nominees and how your own map was compared to them, what do you expect from the voting? Did you expect winning the best map of the year overall, or was you sort of just happy being nominated?
We nominated, of course, that the jury chose my map, but I didn't expect it to win. I expected Roa to win, because of course it was the World Cup map, and I think the value of the importance of a map is also needed to take in account. So no, I didn't expect it to win. I was just super happy to be chosen. Of course, that's a nice recognition you can get of the year.
Some would say it's rigged because HuntMania is in the right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the jury wasn't of HuntMania.
No, exactly.
So it can be rigged. So.
But looking at the sort of recognition you got last year, would you now try to build more tech maps? Let's say already the Gaming Winterfest is of course out, but Gamers Assembly, would you try to send in a map for that event?
Yeah, I actually finished the map this week for Gamers Assembly. It was originally for Gaming Winterfest, but I was a bit slow with making the map. So let's hope it gets fixed. And I also made a duo map with Bastimon. If one of those maps get picked, I hope so. So it would be nice to have a again to see it get driven by the pros.
That's always a pleasure. But certainly, I guess what you're most famous for, and what we already sort of briefly talked about, is the Four Styles Cup. You hosted the second edition in 2019. But if you go before that and like the foundation and the start of this competition, how did you actually start? Like, okay, I want to build a long multi-style map and then see if somebody plays it. What was the process here?
Yeah, well, some of you may know I'm a streamer, or let's say part-time streamer. I'm streaming since the summer vacation. But yeah, it kind of started like that. I found out about streaming, and there weren't much building streams, so I thought like, hey, yeah, maybe some people are interested to see a mapping process. Music, no microphone, a bit shy. I just thought like, okay, let's build a multi-style and we just see where it comes. And then I started to build the beginning of a new era. Build, and I really enjoyed. People started to come in my stream and they say, "Well, what's this?" And making it longer. And I wanted to make it a multi-lap map. But then, for example, Shorty came, mail me, and they all said like, "No, just don't make it a multi-lap because that's just saying a 7.5 minute map that's in multi-lap. That will be just insane, of course." So I said, okay, this is enough. I got the 4 styles. And then I had the map finished, but I thought like, oh, I put like, I don't remember exactly. And I was like, yeah, it would be a shame if nobody plays this, because of course, if there's no reason for you to play it, nice to learn a map of 7.5 minutes. That's quite difficult to drive. Kind of spoke with Shorty, and he said like, why don't you do a competition? That's cool, but I don't have any connections, and then I just started to ask around, and then I ended up with ESL, and they said, oh, sick map, let's try it, the RPG Night Cup, Chocolate. And from there, it started the 4-Star Cup, and the first edition was it was big enough to make an influence. There was a nice video of shorts. Pack made an insane world record on it. Spam uploaded that video. It also got viewed by 8,000 people. So it kind of blew up, and like that it started to be. Of course, I had in mind, do I do it again next year, or do I want to go again through this progress? But as a streamer, you cannot really build like competition maps. You need a kind of project that you can work on and keep daily streaming and having fun, and that's also kind of the reason why I don't stream now, because I don't have a project. So, but basically, I started to make maps again, and then all summer I streamed making the Voyage of Time. And we had the event in January. It was pretty big. I didn't expect it to be so big. Riolu did an amazing cast. We had a lot of streamers playing it. Lots of views. What's very cool. But for example, now I'm kind of dead inside with making a map like that again, because like I said, I seen it, and I just don't have the motivation to start another big project to stream anymore. So.
The name of the first map was A New Era, or Start of a New Era. Is this sort of symbolism to that you want this style to be sort of a new era, or is it sort of a new era for yourself in terms of testing something out?
Maybe kinda. I don't remember it really good. The name was Beginning of a New Era. But as a mapper, for me, in my case, difficulty to come with map names. I came on Beginning of a New Era, and I thought, that fits the map pretty good. People liked the name, so I implemented it. But I don't think I had a real reason behind it to start like, TM is in a new era. Starting a new era now. No. That was not the case.
And if you compare, let's say, the first style and the second, or a first cup and a second cup together, is there any improvements or stuff that you would see done differently if you are to host a third cup of this format?
Of course. I hosted it with HuntMania, the second edition, so it was a new organization, and so we had to see how we would do it. everything. There were some points that could use improvement, and we've learned in that. So we will definitely have a smoother cup, and I hope maybe even more participants. I'm very happy with the last cup. It was pretty big. I didn't expect it to be so big. And well, for me, maybe in TM competitions, it's not that big, of course, but I think we did a pretty good job as HuntMania, and the improvement of the first cup, because the map was a bit easier, the first 4-star map. Yeah, it was less effort put in, and of course you improve daily. So there was like 1 year in between those two maps. So in my opinion, the map was a much better tool for casuals as well.
I guess the
if
main
they learn the map.
Yeah, and I guess the main point or the main difference, if you look outside the maps, is of course the first cup hosted by ESL, the second one, then you are officially a part of HuntMania. For people who don't know the story on how you got in, can you take us through how did you actually end up being part of this small organization, HuntMania?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Me neither.
Yeah. What I do remember is that in the time of when I built the beginning of a new era, it would be sick if we would have like awards of the end of the year. And then I found out that it already existed, and like that I got in contact with you.
Oh yeah.
Something that I thought like, oh yeah, I wanted to do it too. Maybe you could implement this for next year, blah blah blah.
Oh.
Started talking together, and to make
I guess we started talking about sort of different cups instead of just the 4-Styles cups, because I still think ESL was around at that time. But you had motivation to host other events, right?
Yeah, I had motivation to host other events. It never happened though. Although we are planned to this year some cups. We are still in talks of what we are gonna do exactly. Are there, so we are planning to at least host some cups this year. Weekly cup, or we will see what the future brings. We still have to talk with Johnny Boy about it.
Yeah, because like I said to some people already, that I would sort of step away from hosting events, and that's why you and CC are stepping in. But do you have any ideas out of the top of your head that you want to share, or if you are not to host it, maybe some events that you would like to see other host?
I'm not really on the top of my head. We need to see what's possible, of course, with plugins and see what's. I'm not really an organizer, but I would like to learn more about it, and we can do together with Johnny Boy that makes the plugins and the site and everything. So yeah, we would like to host the Team Cup this year. And a weekly fun cup for a short period of time.
You talked a little bit about how we got to know each other, or how we got to get into contact the TrackMania Awards. If you are to look at the TrackMania Awards besides your own nomination last year, how would you say the overall awards looked in your opinion?
It was definitely improvement. Last year, like I remember, one of my feedback was don't use Twitter for voting, because I don't have Twitter, so remove that. And like maybe it would be nice to have a system that implements the votes where everybody can vote and not just people with Twitter. And we saw that this year was on the site, so that was a huge improvement. And the awards got a bit cut down. Unnecessary, some came extra, so overall I was pretty satisfied with the TrackMania Awards.
You already stepped into HuntMania to sort of take my place as being the event organizer and hosting events. I have sort of briefly talked about not wanting to be the main guy for TrackMania Awards. Would you be up for, let's say, if the possibility comes, be sort of the guy moving this project forward as well?
Podcast?
No, the TrackMania Awards overall, like the process.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think you have the experience with it. So you know what's good. But I'm always open for new stuff, and I think TrackMania Awards is pretty fun concept. So yeah, of course, one day maybe if you're sick of it, I could take over with someone else or alone. I don't know. For now, I think you are the perfect guy because for me, TrackMania Awards is with your face on it. So I hope that you will do it at least for this year and maybe the years to come, and then maybe I can take over, retire.
I guess it's lucky that my voice is more connected to the awards rather than just my face there. But if you are, but if you are to move over to some upcoming, or let's say some news at the moment, you said yourself the TrackMania Grand League. You were one of the first maps to be released there. How did you got to know about this event, and how did you get contacted to be a mapper for this cup?
Well, because Softy said to me, like, yo, I know that you make good multi-style maps. There's this new competition. It's pretty secret. I tell you much about it, but can you make a multi-style map? It has to be easy, understandable, but with a spectacular part every 20 seconds. And then the concept changed. It was, I think, in November it started already. Every time, and then we ended up in the qualification maps that we made, and we got contacted by just because I guess because of my 4-styles map. The multi-style environment fits me well, and Softy saw a good multi-style mapper, so he contacted me because the initial idea was to make a multi-style map, so with RPG, with full speed, with dirt, just a weekly map, any weekly map, a spam weekly map, a rural weekly map. That was the idea before, but I think Nadeo noticed that it was kind of hard to follow, and especially because we are mappers that would like to implement as much creativity in these kind of maps. New things to be seen, and like everybody knows, the concept of Nadeo is easy to follow for the spectators. I think they wanted different stuff, and that's how we end up making these qualification maps. You can check it out on MX of Kisla and me, the qualification maps, and see how they were before, because I don't think there's any stream officially, so you gotta check it out. I think through MX.
I guess you are a better judge here than me. Is this sort of the style that TrackMania should be crowning the best player on, or would you be more in the favor of, let's say, the maps you built for the TrackMania Pro League?
It's a difficult question. I think we are in beta season, so we still got to see what's the end result of this cup. I feel that the maps could be maybe a bit harder, but on the other hand, if you have these maps for 20 minutes, either you make more mistakes or the difference between here, so that can be like more boring. Maybe for players, I don't think they enjoy driving the maps so much as it's an interesting concept to make these weekly maps or like a bit easier maps, the endurance maps actually. Professional competitions into esports, because we are used already for so long that we have these tech maps and having these tech maps, and we as a community are really into that.
Yeah, that's for
I'm
sure.
not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if future should have competition maps, but I guess we can mix it maybe a little, or at least I hope we keep the tech competitions there. So
Yeah.
the way during the years.
I don't know if you have checked it out or I had the question of the week on Twitter, on YouTube. And it's about basically what you are doing for the Four Styles Cup. You're streaming your building session and sort of showing the process of building maps. But then, as you said, you don't have the content anymore because you're not allowed to stream the competition maps because they should be private. What is your overall view? Should mappers be allowed to build the competitions maps on stream and sort of take the viewers behind the scenes?
Well, my opinion is kind of divided because I like to stream and I like to map. So for me, is to just map these maps on stream. But on the other hand, I also think we have during map testing sessions there has been unfair ratings because the map testers are close to the mappers and they say, don't worry, I give your map more points, etc. So if you build your map on stream, it's not anonymous anymore. Map testers know who built the map, and even in a sense of even if you say no, I will do it fair, you're biased automatically anyway, depending if you like that person or not. So you can rate it negatively or and on the other hand, I also think for example, big influence streamers or etc. For example, Spam, if he would build a map and behind his mapping, of course. So if his map wouldn't be chosen, they would say, you should have chosen that one and that one, instead of letting the map tester do their job and see what's best fitting the competition. But it's a difficult concept because it's already hard to in the sense of some different opinions and all those things. So yeah, I'm not sure. I would like to map, of course, on stream, but I think it has positive sides, but also huge negative sides based on the map testing and fair judgment of into the competition.
Yeah, you bring up probably a view I didn't think about actually how the maps get picked and who picks the maps. So your main concern is that if map tester actually knows who building the maps, then they can be sort of biased even though they don't want to be it.
Yeah, exactly. So I trust most map testers. Of course, you just trust that it gets treated fairly. Yeah, it's not always the case in some situations. So I think maps should be tested like blank, so the map testers don't know who made it, and kind of important to not get influenced on who made the map. So that will basically, if you stream the map, it will. So, for example, in Bassy's case that you had in your question of the week, send this map to TMPL, of course. So those kind of things it's not super nice because to stream as well, but of course you respect the rules. You don't do it. It's a kind of common thing. So that was kind of a bummer, but I mean it's a good map, so it deserves to be played in a competition, of course. It's a bit stupid that it went this way, of course. Maybe he shouldn't have send it to the video. Just keep it for himself. Okay, it got rejected, and let's send it to the Gaming Winterfest in around that time, so nobody have seen it.
Yeah,
a better option because most mappers, when a map doesn't get picked, they feel like, okay, this is a map that could have been played in another competition, but it's just picked in for this one. Let's save it and submit it to another competition. I mean, that should be totally fine in my opinion, because the map testers are the ones that played it, and if it stays in the community of the map testers, problem that people have seen the map. But if there's a video of it or there's a stream of it, it will influence the map testing, I think.
I guess we are looking forward to what's next for 2019 and what's next for HuntMania. It's sort of a new era here now that I'm not in charge of hosting events anymore. For the people who are wondering, what can you sort of say to them, and would there be a better era with Voucher and CC in the seats?
You are a person. I think a lot of people even voted for you for Community Person of the Year. So it will be hard place to say that. To follow up. Yeah, we are gonna try our best to make fun events and just to Trackmania, because that's all about it, of course. Us as a community, having fun together, and I would always love to give something back, because TMS give me a lot, of course, a lot of hours of enjoyment.
Is there any topic that you want to highlight, or any sort of person that you think should get more attention in the community before we sort of close the show?
Yeah, I would like, of course, to see maybe some other mappers in the podcast. You can look into that.
Say some names and I will invite them.
I think always Kisla has really good opinions on certain topics. So I would like to see him. So you could invite him. Maybe as a player, I would like to see Shorty. He's a good mate of me, and maybe some RPG guys. Some let's see of everything. Let's combine some communities together. You can see who.
Yeah, I'll try my best to fulfill your wishes now that you are sort of in charge of HuntMania, so I don't get fired there as well.
No, I'm not in charge. Like I said, you and Johnny Boy, you created HuntMania, and I'm glad to be part of it. But for me, you guys, you founded it, of course, so you will always be persons in charge.
Make HuntMania great again, right?
Yeah, it's always been great.
But do you have any people that you want to give sort of a shout out to, some people that have influenced your TrackMania career?
The Nani, like I said before in the podcast, he's been my friend for like 10 years already. Yeah, he has motivated me to build, and always being there on streams. I have many people that helped me during the way. Shorty, really helpful. Shadok always being on stream, or being a good mod. And yeah, I can keep calling names, but I will certainly forget some people. And,
that's the scary part. That's the scary part.
Yeah, exactly. Many people have helped me, so I'm grateful for all.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for you stepping up and doing this podcast, even though I had to sort of convince you to actually come on and talk. You didn't say that you had something to talk about, but now, 45 minutes later, we are here.
Oh, 45, yeah? Well, it's because of your questions, so that we can keep talking, of course.
Yeah, I should get some awards for my journalism, right?
Well, I would like to see, actually, you this year growing into... because you want to go out of TM as well.
Move out of the bubble a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope to keep seeing you on events here, but I am curious if you and I will love to see. I think you're in a good way, because I see podcasts coming every week. I see articles coming up, so I think you're doing a good job, man.
Yeah, only doing good job because now I know that HuntMania is safe, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks so much
Exactly.
for stepping up and doing this. And I'm sure we are actually gonna stay in touch. I normally say it for every guest, but you are in HuntMania, so I guess we have to stay in touch, right?
Yeah, we have to stay in touch. And we have already been for a long while.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Thanks, man. And
It's been nice to be on the podcast.
You have any final words?
Thank you for inviting.
You have any final words that you want to share?
Yeah, just enjoy, and to the people that listening this,
stay positive, plus. Stay positive,
yeah,
plus.
Plus.
Bye, man.
Yeah, see you later, dude. Thank you.